This week I'm going real old school with the Duvel as my beer in front, and I'm also going to drop the F-bomb. Founders. All right, that's beer in front coming up now. Welcome to the January 13th edition of Beer in Front. I'm your host, Dave Zalatoris. Hope everyone had a good week last week. Hopefully things are calming down a bit. I don't know. It's still with everything going on with the insurrection and everything else. My anxiety and panic attacks have been absolutely brutal. It's hard to, even function sometimes in the morning, get by during the day. Even right now, it's minor. Hopefully all this shit calms down after the 20th. I don't know, but I'm just thinking that this is the cause of it, everything that's going on in this country. I'm a hot mess. So luckily there's, the beer I have every night to calm me down a little bit. But yeah, this week I'm looking forward to. I haven't had a Duvel in a long time. I'm like, well, that's old school. That definitely qualifies as an old school beer. So I'm going to bust one of those open as my beer in front this week. I also had a lot of really good beers during the week, and I'll mention a couple of those. I mentioned in the tease the F-word Founders. I'll talk about them in a little bit, and there's no shortage of jag-offs this week. So let's get this going. On Sunday afternoon, the social media person running the Founders Twitter feed went on a blocking rampage against anyone that questioned their past racist bullshit actions. Now, I'm not sure if this was just an individual decision or came from above, since I was one of the ones that was blocked. It must be nice living in a rosy world where everyone that fawns over you is your followers. And after I wrote this segment out, on Tuesday, all of a sudden they just started removing all the blocks from people. So you see on Beer Twitter, everyone's like, well, I'm unblocked now. So I'm assuming this was after Good Beer Hunting was tweeting at them asking, hey, what's going on here? This is a really shitty decision. But, it's Founder, so who knows what their line of thinking is. I stopped drinking anything that they put out over 2 years ago, or at least when I first heard of the news of their past, racist bullshit actions. And I threw everything out. I threw out my shirt. I had a nice CBS glass in the garbage. And I'm sorry, I have a good friend that collects beer glasses. I'm sorry, but no, I'm not keeping it. I'm not selling it. Went in the garbage, and I'm done with them. There are plenty of good breweries out there that make great beers, and I don't have to give my money to a bunch of jagoffs. I'm good with myself. I sleep well at night. If I never have a CBS or a KBS again, I'm good with that. And the way Founders handled everything about this, it's been just, it's, in my opinion, it's been brutal. And that's another reason they're not getting any slack from myself and other people and many people who drink craft beer. Now, also, I'm sure the last thing they're worried about is the loss of my, 4-pack a month sale. Who gives a shit about that? But you know what? You guys do you. You could have your white beer bros just jerk you off and tell you how good you are, and I'll be happy in my own little world. My own little world with just one printer that anyone can use. I had some really good beers this week. Let's talk about a couple of them. I had Choice Stock from Hop Butcher. That was fantastic. One that I loved that was a promiscuous suggestion, Double Dramatrix. Yeah, say that fast. This is an Imperial Stout from Saugatuck that was terrific. Barrel aged, but very subtle on the barrel aging. This one I loved. If you see this from Saugatuck, Double Dramatrix. Excellent beer. I had one that was released yesterday from Haymarket. This is their Claire's Thirsty Ale. This is a barrel-aged Imperial Stout with raspberries. Oh my God, this was killer. absolutely phenomenal. Everything about this was great. If, I'm trying to like describe it, like, you have like some candy, like raspberry filled chocolate candies. That's what this tasted like. It was outstanding. If it's still around, grab it. This is Claire's Thirsty Ale from Haymarket. I'm not sure if it's going to be in stores or liquor stores, things like that. I picked it up directly from Haymarket, but this was phenomenal. Definitely grab this one. And if you're looking for just a plain, old-fashioned, old-school IPA, I recommend Devil's Paint Box. This is from Tangled Roots. Now, I received this from Christmas from longtime friend of the show, Dan and Jinx. They hooked me up with this for Christmas. This was really good. So if you see this one, I recommend it, if you're looking for a good old-school IPA. This is Devil's Paint Box from Tangled Roots. The beer that's in front of me today is the Belgian Golden Ale Duvel. Now, this is an 8.5%er, so it's definitely not light. This came out in 1918 and was originally called Victory Ale to celebrate the end of World War I. Duvel has been, like I said, they've been around forever, over 100 years. Duvel also came out with the tulip glass in the late 60s, and the tulip glass is what you see a lot of, actually. That's part of my logo, is the tulip glass in the middle of the Chicago Star. So let's stop talking about this and let's start drinking it. Wow, is this one carbonated? I know I've talked before in the past couple of weeks about certain beers that aren't as carbonated as I like. This is the complete opposite. I didn't pour this in a Duvel glass. I don't have one, but I did pour it into a tulip glass, a New Belgium one that's etched on the bottom to release some more of the carbonation. And this is going crazy. It almost looks like a lava lamp down there. This is really, really carbonated, almost over-carbonated for me. But you do get some great aroma from this. You really get the noble hops out of this, the Saaz hops that are in here. Really good aroma on it. I actually had to stop for a second and pour it into another glass and see. I bought the big champagne bottle of it. Maybe that has something to do with the overcarbonation, but, maybe the original glass wasn't, beer clean. I poured it into another glass and it's still way overcarbonated. So I'm going to have to let this settle down a bit. But like I said, the aroma is good on this. And once I get through the excessive foam on this, the taste is pretty good. It's what I remember of it. I mean, it's a decent, Belgian golden ale. I get the flavor of the Belgian yeast that, I'm sure, like I said, I'm an everyman. I'm not a beer expert. I know what I like, but there are a lot of people a million times smarter about beer than I am. So I don't know, to me, the Belgian yeast in many beers, the only way I could describe it in my terms would be, it tastes like, remember, juicy fruit gum. And that's what drinking this and drinking some other Belgian beers with their yeast reminds me of. It reminds me of juicy fruit gum, and that's the flavor notes that I'm getting from this. It's a shame I'm going to have to dump this because it's just so carbonated. I mean, it's decent from what I'm drinking of it, but it's not enjoyable. There's just way too much foam here. So I think this is a beer in front first where it's okay. I'm not telling you not to drink it, and maybe it was the champagne bottle, but this isn't my favorite right now. So a beer in front first where I'm actually not happy with what I'm drinking. All right, that's Duvel. So if you see it, check it out. Just don't grab the champagne bottle of it. Oh, during this past week, there's been plenty of Jag-Offs of the Week. Now, before I get started, on last week's show, I mentioned that Supreme Leader Jag-Off, Josh Hawley of Missouri, was walking out of the Senate raising his fist at the protesters, and I was in error. He was walking into into Senate. As he did this, I misread the information. I got it wrong. So I do want to apologize because that made a big difference. You're still a Jag-Off. but I was wrong in that one instance. In addition to Hawley, everyone that's associated with this during the last week, you're just jagoffs of the highest degree. Lauren Babert, you're a clown. Matt Gates, or Getz, whatever your name is, just go hang out with Nestor. You're a big jagoff. Madison Cawthorn, how the fuck were you elected? You're the dumbest motherfucker I've ever seen. But not as dumb as the people that voted for you. Oh my God. Sweaty Teddy Cruz, Rafael Cruz. You're all a bunch of jagoffs. I'm going to get into most of you coming up here, but you're all fucking jagoffs at the highest order. Speaking of Rafael Cruz, do you know he gave Lauren Babert $70,000 to her campaign? But does he know that, Babert was with her husband when he was arrested for exposing himself to a minor? Nice going, Rafi. Jagoff. Our wonderful First Lady was too busy to do anything last Wednesday because she was overseeing a photo shoot at the White House. Can I say the C word on the show? No, I'm not going to, but you're a jagoff. Oh, and I'm not done with her yet. Now, these are her own quotes about the attacks last Wednesday. Quote unquote from her, that she finds it shameful, or because it's her quote, I find it shameful that surrounding these tragic events, there has been salacious gossip, unwarranted personal attacks, and false misleading accusations on me. That's right, on me. Don't worry about anyone else. Just worry about the attacks on you personally. But then she says her hearts go out to the 4 people that were killed, the 4 people that stormed the castle, and then mention the 2 police officers last. So the people that stormed the castle, like this Ashley Babbitt woman and these other knuckleheads, she mourns them, and then the 2 cops. You know what? I can't wait for your husband to go to jail. He'll file bankruptcy, and then your divorce settlement will be nothing, and you'll be forced to have an OnlyFans site so Proud Boys can jerk off to your pictures. You're a fucking jagoff. Oh, and there's more on Ted Cruz. He actually had the nerve to say, I have disagreed with the president's language and rhetoric the last 4 years. Fuck you, Ted. Jagoff. Matt Getz said that Donald J. Trump remains the inspirational leader of a loving and patriotic movement. Fuck you. And I just love the people now, the Congress people, especially the Republicans, that are bullying their way through the metal detectors at the Capitol and calling them unconstitutional. Have you ever gotten on a fucking airplane in the last 40 years? I wonder if you have any kids that go to school, because God knows they have to go through a metal detector because of jagoffs like you. We as a country spend over $700 billion a year on defense, and yet we couldn't defend our own capital. And now we're putting magnetometers in, and you fucking knuckleheads say that it's unconstitutional. New Presidential Medal of Honor winner Devin Nunes, who likes to sue everyone for saying bad things about him. So Devin, once again, these are just my opinions only. I don't know if you're a jagoff. I think you are. But it's my opinion, and you know what they say about opinions. But now Devin's upset, and he went on national TV. Now, let's get this straight. He went on national television saying that Republicans have no way of communicating now that Parler and all these other things are being kicked off. But you're on national TV, Devin. Jagoff. Yesterday on Fox, getting back to this whole Parler thing, Glenn Beck, now, he's drawing similarities between big tech banning Trump and others who have broken, their platform rules, like kicking off these people. He's comparing that to what Germans did during World War II. This is a quote from Glenn Beck. This is like the Germans with the Jews behind the wall. They would put them in the ghetto. This is the digital ghetto. Glenn, you are such a fucking jagoff. I don't even know where to begin with you. You should go in a fucking ghetto somewhere behind a wall, you fucking prick. Oh, but the best, and this is just the best. Now, this is Trump's national press secretary, Hogan Gidley. He said that Trump is the most masculine person to ever hold the White House as the president of the United States. the most masculine president. Bone Spurs guy that can't even drink a glass of water. Did you ever hear about Teddy fucking Roosevelt? He was fucking shot and still delivered a speech while he was shot. I think he's a little more masculine than Trump. Jag-off. Oh, but the best, and this isn't a jag-off, but this was just hysterical. Kevin Sorbo, who used to play Hercules, and I think he's trying to get into the Scott Baio, home of Trump's favorite washed-up actors. He was saying that these people didn't look like patriots to him, the ones that were protesting and stormed the castle last week. But Lucy Lawless, who played Xena, fucking shot him down. This was brilliant. She told him that no peanut, they're not patriots. They're your flying monkeys, homegrown terrorists, QAnon actors. They're the douchebags that go out and do the evil bidding of people like you who like to wind them up like toys and let them do their worst. That was fucking brilliant. Lucy Lawless, you are not a jag-off. You are the warrior princess Xena. All right, that's going to wrap things up for the January 13th edition of Beer in Front. I do thank you very much for listening. Hope everyone has a good week. Next week's the 20th. Big day, big show coming up for the 20th. All right, we'll see everyone next week. Take care.